It is said the internet has gone through developmental stages. Now, usually this refers to Erikson's 8 stages of development, but that stops at 18. That stops the moment you breach into adulthood, and that has been critiqued ad nauseum within the sphere of psychology. So today, I want to use a 3-point development stage to analyze the internet's development and see exactly where it is at the moment, and maybe try to expand on what human development is past 18. So, to start with this is going to be an obvious one. The first moment of initiation that you have to welcome a child into the world is, well, okay, there's the moment of birth. So you are literally welcoming the child into the world. But after that, it is the moment that they are turning into a teenager. So it is from childhood into teenage years. Childhood is naivety, it is potential, it is endless potential with no limits to imagination. This, for the internet, was the dot-com bubble. Everything with a .com at the end, oh my God, so much money towards it. It could be the next big thing. It could be the thing. It could take over the world. It could be ba-da-da-da-da-da. And then the bubble popped. And we got initiated into this teenage phase of you must become something. You must be able to offer energy. So this is masculine energy or kind of yang energy, but you must be an energy provider. So internet, what are you providing? Prove yourself, show yourself. What are you worth? What can you offer? How can we use you? Or how like it's this very somewhat transactional, quite reductionist, but it is this mechanic sort of movement of, okay, grand, you're here, great, you're beautiful, yes. Like, what can you do? So it is that sort of energy. Grant. So that is from childhood into teen, and I'm going to kind of label that as masculine simply so that we can better understand the next phase, which is from teenage years into adult years. So after forming yourself, going through school and really like trying to see what your system's able to do, trying to find your limits, trying to push past your limits perhaps, how much can you study, how much can you exercise, how much can you do all of this stuff, desperately trying to be something that someone says is good enough. And for all the humans watching this, yes, the school system is a tough grindstone to put ourselves through. It's a tough story to put our kids through. But that is the energy of like, prove yourself, show what you can build yourself into. Now, when you go into the adult world, you are asked where to place yourself. You don't have someone telling you what to do, how to stick to a routine, what work to do, where you're best fitted, anything like that. No, it is up to yourself to now be receptive to the world and say, okay, I've built myself into something. Now, where am I best of use? Where am I best of service? Where can I contribute this energy, this thing I've built? Where can I place it so it contributes best? And that takes receptivity. So that is a massive twist, because you are now shifting from energy providing into being some bit, you can use the word here, it's going to be tense though, humiliated. And by this, I mean that you have to be humble, utmostly. So there is a certain amount of humiliation. Oh my God, I just went through secondary school and I broke myself and I did all of that. And now just the world doesn't care. I'm a fool. That was stupid. That was, yeah, okay, everything falls. And there is you can feel bad for the situation, but in its kind of best sense, you are now humbled to the world and just being like, crap. Okay, now the real game starts. Where can I offer something to the world? I did take pride. I know I was told to do it while I was in school, but some part of me wanted to build myself too. I was a teenager. I wanted to do this. So we're into that energy receptive stage. So for the internet, bringing it back to our topic here, this is a little bit of a jump, I think, but hopefully it'll make sense, and hopefully it'll make sense for the next stage. But I'm going to say that this is us trying to allow the internet into every aspect of our lives, mainly social media. in the fact that you have this force and it's trying to be receptive to the world, saying like, hey, how can I help you all out? I can connect you, I can do this, I can give you entertainment, I can do whatever else. But obviously this goes into a bad phase as well, because we did mention for that masculine energy for child into teenage years, that school system, that millstone, that making you work, making you prove yourself, that can turn into a tyrant because it's that masculine energy. Okay, so for this stage then of trying to be receptive, trying to figure out where we can now place the machine, that can turn into a devouring mother. That is the feminine energy, because there is that sort of thing where you don't, we'll find out where you fit. Don't worry about it. You don't need to change. Just we'll find a space perfect for you, and we'll just mind you in the meantime. That type of, those two archetypes are the masculine, feminine at the vice level, not the virtue level. So understanding that's kind of important. But if the last 15 years or so have been this feminine energy of trying to be receptive, how does the internet fit into the world, and how do we fit into it? What exactly is it? Grand. Perfect. Something like that. And now we have our third developmental stage. And this is the turn into the 30s. This might be the midlife crisis if taken too late, or if it's not taken up at the age of 30. I think. I'm not too sure about that. I am only at the 30 mark, roughly. So I don't know exactly on the human level the stage of this, but it feels very clear when I look at the internet that this is where the development is. And this is at the metamodern phase of development. So this is accepting that postmodernity had it right, that there are multiple perspectives to any one story, to any one obstacle, to any one opportunity. There are multiple perspectives. And I can understand the most vicious of perspectives. We have the anti-heroes and we have the villain stories and biographies of trying to understand these monsters and how they came to be. And it turns out that they're human. They're not monsters at all. They're not the cyclopses or the ogres or the warlocks or some misshapen being that is just alien from us. No, it turns out they're actually human, and we can understand it because we're human too. And we get the movie of the Joker and Batman being your anti-hero, or you get the backstory for whatever villain. For any of your movies, it can be Marvel or Disney or any of them. And you get that perspective of understanding the evil, understanding the protagonist or the antagonist. So this shift then, this third initiation into life, is saying that yes, the postmodernists had it right. There are multiple perspectives, and you can understand all of them, and that's a lot. And then this meta-modern turn is to say, yes, but some are better than others. It doesn't get rid of the hierarchy. It doesn't stop it from there being there's bottom levels of people who kind of struggled their way through, and then there's higher levels of people who kind of met it with vitality and tenacity, and then there's maybe the peak, the person who met it with love, or whatever the hierarchy is. But amongst that pluralist or pluralism, amongst that multitude of perspectives, there are better and worse perspectives. And we can understand the viciously corrupt or the viciously evil sort of perspectives and understand them, and therefore say, okay, I see the human there, without saying that that's acceptable. That's the meta-modern twist, is to say, man, I understand you. so much. I get it. Like, whoo, if I was in your shoes, I don't know. But we don't do that here. That's the twist. That's this. So this is on a human level. This is the initiation into the complexity of the world. This is just saying like, hey, yeah, there's no one telling you exactly what to do. There's no there's no path laid out for this is how to get successful by 40, even though there are endless YouTube videos about it. And like, here's how to structure it. Here's how to motivate yourself. Here's how to build yourself. Here's how to start your company. Here's how to build your network. Here's how to be more charismatic. There's all of this stuff. Again, pluralism of perspectives. There is so many perspectives on how to take the next steps. Grand. But we don't have to follow each one just because we're inspired by does not mean no. There's a bit of wisdom needed here of just being like, okay, yes, there's physical, there's mental, there's spiritual. Yes, there is business, there's personal, there's social, and everything else. There's going to be so many within those as well. And I want all of them. Okay, now how do I best fit this into a living life? Because I only have one and it is finite, and I do not have an ultimate amount of time to fit all of this stuff in. And also the order in which I learn of all of this might take effect. Loads of different stuff. Regardless, it is a meta-modern twist of saying like, yes, you have the tradition of here's the laid out path. That's the traditional view. And then you have the modern saying that, well, we can empower ourselves to be scientific and we can be supercharged and we don't need the traditions as much. And then we have the postmodern of like, well, if we don't need it, then there's a load of perspectives. There's so many different ways of looking at it. Why do you think that your scientific perspective is so damn strong? And then you get the meta-modern twist of being just like, yes, and you're also a perspective. So let's just look at all of the perspectives and let's just talk about it and see which one is best. We'll understand all of them. Again, I want that like really highlighted. You can understand all of them. And that's really important because we don't, and this is the benefit of what happened during the Enlightenment and the post-modernity. We do not want to morally condemn anyone. We don't want to say that your soul is corrupt. We can make a judgment though and say, we don't do that here. As in like, your soul's not corrupt. You are human and I'm so sorry for everything that has happened. But we just don't do that here. Here is the boundary. Here is the limit of what we can accept within our parameter. So if that is what the developmental turn of from that like early adult into kind of more mature adult, or into like just taking on the full complexity of living, instead of being receptive to the world and trying to figure out where I fit in, but actually taking on the world and saying, there's a lot there, and how to navigate will take wisdom, will take discernment, will take navigation through the multiplicity of perspectives. If that is the developmental turn, I think there should be initiation rites for all of these, so maybe we should bring in some celebration for hitting 30, who knows. But how does that make us look at the internet then? So we are taking on all of the perspectives. We're also building a machine that can take on all of the perspectives and can navigate all of that, in theory anyway, and will be able to hold us accountable, as in will say like, hey, you're human because like, you've skin and you're warm-bodied and like, you move like an ape, and it's just like, yeah, you're human, grant. But that will have the ability to just parse through because it has access to way more of our life than anyone wants to admit. But it'll say, hey, just no, not you. You keep looking at this stuff that we don't want you looking at. You keep, or you watch too much, you look at too much stuff, and surely that's not healthy. Or you keep looking at this food, or you keep like whatever else it is, it could turn into a nanny state that is ridiculous. And there's so many ways it could turn. But so how do we navigate that? How do we navigate a pluralist society? A society where there are so many different ways of being. There are so many different cultures, so many different religions, so many different stories. And for those stories to be understood and to be respected and to be given their own space, but with some form of discernment between what is better and what is worse. Discerning better food from worse food. Just because it doesn't kill you does not mean it's food. Better water from worse water, same principle. Better entertainment and stories from worse entertainment and stories. That gets into a very creepy space. Better education, more practical, more useful. And then worse education, again, that gets into an interesting space as well. All of these questions. So that is the video for this week. Just laying out that developmental turn. So from the child into the teen is your masculine turn. It is trying to prove yourself. What energy can you offer? From the teen into the early adult, that is the feminine turn, which is, okay, now how can I be receptive? Where can I best fit into the world? How can I help? And then you have that from early adult into later adult, mid-adult, mature adult, I don't know how to phrase that. And that is taking on the world, saying like, okay, I can best fit here, but I'm now going to press myself and reintegrate that kind of energy providing sort of one energy into building a life, perhaps. So, if that makes sense, what questions does that raise for you, or what answers does it kind of open up for you? I hope it helps. I hope it serves. With that, I hope you've had a great week. I hope you are looking forward to the week to come, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.